You are entering a dimension of sound. You carefully come in through the threshold with wonder, yet skepticism. You see the faint shape of an outline of a robot arm petting a cat. You faintly hear the haunting sounds of a man playing a tambourine. The sound augments into two men playing with a soundboard. You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Stay a while and listen. And now, where Nephilim news meets biblical views, you'll find broken memes and shattered dreams. Give it up for Basil and Guns.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is March 11th, 2020, and this week, Crispy COVID and Space Pope Reptilian. My name's Basil.
And this is Gons. Welcome to the podcast where we talk about other news with biblical views. Zero preparation on that one.
The political beat is transhuman. I see a little note here. Was that the start of a tagline?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I was messing around.
Okay.
We're always evolving here. No sticky taglines.
Kind of. Sometimes backwards. Sometimes we're devolving.
Yeah, well, it's okay. You got to take a couple steps back, and then you'll shoot up forward further later.
Yes, you're such an eloquent speaker, Gonzo. Thank you. Let's start out with a Flippy update. You want to just jump right into this?
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
Okay, folks, so this is your Flippy update. If this is your first episode, every episode's somebody's first episode, we talk about Flippy, and Flippy is the colloquial name for the lovely disembodied robot arm that is taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses, and flipping our burgers here and there. But this week, Gons, I have my favorite new website, robotics.news. Always got the Flippy updates on robotics.news. If you are the editor of robotics.news, still waiting for my check. But the article is titled, Engineers Develop Vegibot that can harvest lettuce.
Nice.
While using machines to harvest crops isn't a new concept, using a robot that does so through machine learning is. A team of engineers from the University of Cambridge developed a vegetable picking robot that uses machine learning to harvest a commonplace but challenging agricultural crop, lettuce. Such a challenging crop. The team, led by Cambridge's Dr. Fumiya Lida, initially trained their robot called Vegibot to recognize and harvest iceberg lettuce in a lab setting. First tested in laboratory conditions, the robot was later successfully tested in a variety of field conditions with the help of local fruit and vegetable cooperatives, G's Growers. Currently, Vegibot is nowhere near as fast or as efficient as a human worker. Woo! Good job, humans. However, it demonstrates how advanced robotics can be used in agriculture to help harvest certain crops, such as iceberg lettuce, that have been particularly challenging to harvest mechanically.
Does it have to be mechanical?
It has to be. They all have to be. Well, here, I'll get into it real quick. Okay. While certain crops such as wheat and potatoes have been harvested mechanically for decades, other crops such as iceberg lettuce still remain harvested by hand. Not only is iceberg lettuce easily damaged, don't damage my lettuce, it also grows relatively flat to the ground, both factors that represent a challenge to robotic harvesters. Quote, every field is different, every lettuce is different, said co-author Simon Burrell. Oh, every lettuce is a special little creation. A research student from Cambridge's Department of Engineering, quote, but if we can make a robotic harvester work with iceberg lettuce, we could also make it work with many other crops. Iceberg lettuce, the unicorn of crops, to be harvested by machines. Then it goes into Vegibot a little bit. It's your basic sort of setup. You've got cameras and you've got an arm and you've got some blades and some more cameras. But here's the thing, Gons. We're always worrying about Flippy and other robotic arms taking our jobs at the burger restaurant. We got AI taking the jobs of newscasters. The disembodied arm is going to be policing our streets soon. But now Flippy is encroaching on the jobs of the vegetable pickers, which in this country is sort of mainly undocumented workers. So not only are us naturalized or born in America workers gonna lose our jobs, but it's gonna impact the undocumented worker sector, which is interesting if you look at it in the big picture, because I could imagine certain groups of elites here trying to roboticize lettuce picking, and I don't know, maybe in some world that would fight the undocumented alien battle that they're trying to fight. If there's no more jobs, then what's the point of even going through the danger of crossing the border, Gons?
They got all the VR gear. They got all the cool gears now.
Nobody is safe from these robots taking our jobs.
Instead of harvesting real lettuce, it'll be like digital virtual lettuce in like a little prison cell with your VR headset.
I'm not sure if you followed this. The lettuce is real, Gons.
I know the lettuce is real, but I'm saying
not.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Eventually,
it's more of like a Farmville thing. Yeah. Eventually, we're all just going to be eating Farmville lettuce.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
3D printing. Yeah. 3D printing and synthetic biology. Little foreshadowing.
There you go. I know this whole letting plants grow thing is not long for this earth either.
Well, I'm a newfound fan of iceberg lettuce. I'm going to try to figure out how to eat more, just because it's built-in rebel against the robot machine takeover.
Yes, it's such a difficult crop. Iceberg lettuce. I didn't read it, but in the article they talk about how I think I mentioned it, how unique every head of iceberg lettuce is, and how there's just no way to build a uniform machine that can possibly handle this perfect, beautiful creation, these little snowflakes of agriculture. But I mean, I gotta say, Gons, every single head of iceberg lettuce I've ever seen looks like a clone of all the other heads of iceberg lettuce. It is not the most, uniquely, I don't know. There's not a lot of variation. It's just a green ball.
Maybe it's because you get it at the
green ball.
You get it at the GMO grocery stores, your local GMO.
You mean it
shop.
Doesn't just grow shredded in plastic bags? Okay.
That's
all
what
right.
we're waiting for.
Let's
okay.
get in. How are you feeling today? I didn't check in with you here. How are you doing?
I'm ready to go. Come on, let's go.
Seems like we kind of caught you off guard a little bit starting the show.
No, the Flippy update is I love the Flippy updates, but is there a robot arm involved in this?
Why does there need to be a butt? Yes, it does. If you want, I can read it here for you. I skipped it because it was a laborious
okay,
paragraph.
all right. If there's an actual arm that's doing work, then
Vegibot consists of two main components: a computer vision system and a cutting system. The former uses an overhead camera to take an image of the lettuce field, which the machine learning algorithm then uses to identify each individual head of lettuce on the field before classifying whether it should be harvested or not. For Vegibot to be able to do this, the engineers trained its machine learning algorithm using example images of lettuce. Once it would recognize healthy heads of lettuce in the lab, they continued to train in actual fields under a variety of weather conditions. Here it is. To help ensure a smooth cut, Vegibot's cutting system also has its own camera placed alongside its blades. Another important component of the cutting system is the robot's gripping arm. The engineers designed the arm so that it would exert just enough pressure to grip a head of lettuce without crushing it, which is a hilarious vision that I had of a flippy arm gently grabbing a head of lettuce and then just crushing it under its mighty strength.
It won't apologize either.
No regrets. Additionally, the engineers stated that the force of the arm's grip can also be adjusted for other crops. Whoa, how thoughtful of them.
The bigger theme here being robot arms with more dexterity and sensors in their fingers and stuff. It's been a kind of a theme we've noticed, the Flippies. All right, let's move on.
Got to give Flippy that gentle touch.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna go through some stuff here. Let's blow through it. And,
real quick, this is a blitz round of some coronavirus theories that we have.
Yeah, and this is a greater theme here.
Speaking of the beast system, beast system.
Yeah, the glasses just fell off.
CRISPR. Cas9.
Okay, so first article, geneticliteracyproject.org, article titled Fighting the Coronavirus Outbreak with Genetic Sequencing, CRISPR, and Synthetic Biology. There's that term. We've been keeping an eye out for synthetic biology. Now, here's the thing. This is a very dense article. It's like a very sciencey professional article. So we're just going to start building this case. And this article, let's see, the rapid and frightening spread of the coronavirus has sparked a battle that's drawing on a host of emerging technologies. Government, industry, and academic researchers are scrambling to improve our ability to diagnose, treat, and contain a virus that's threatening to reach pandemic status. This isn't the first time researchers have faced off against a dangerous member of this family of viruses, but it is the first time they've done it with a toolbox that includes the gene editing tool CRISPR and the emerging field of synthetic biology. So the rest of this very dense and long article talks about how, they're using CRISPR they being a number of biotech companies are using CRISPR to create testing kits, and they're trying to get the testing kits cheaper. One company thinks they can get it down to $6.50, which is better than the $3,000 it costs now. But it's all because of CRISPR, the miraculous, wonderful gene editing tool that we've been following for quite a while. But it is interesting how CRISPR, a gene editing tool that is meant to change, DNA or DNA expressions, by editing it kind of like just a pair of scissors and some tape, is being used to test for coronavirus. I'm not exactly sure how that works out, but it just smelled a little bit fishy. But there we go. We're getting the genetics field into the coronavirus issue there. And this whole coronavirus thing also opens up, we haven't quite seen it yet, but we got to keep an eye out because it'll be interesting to see the article about how they're using CRISPR to edit coronavirus itself. And if you kind of, are a conspiratorial thinker, there's also, of course, been a lot of talk about coronavirus being engineered in the first place.
Right. And that's the whole point there with using the tools that it may be edited with to go hunt out, the actual edited version of the virus. But this article is interesting as well because it goes into how there's a big cooperation taking place all around the world, and they have this signed document agreed upon by several like you said, biotech companies, but other science societies, they say, and science laboratories all around the world. And it's like the whole thing is, we will share all of our information, and it's this open source revolution type of thing happening, which I thought was something to note as well, because as everything, all the walls go down and we become one world, Basil, we got to keep track of.
You mean in the context of globalization or something?
Yeah, and just how everything operates, and how even in the field of medicine itself, with a new tool like CRISPR, is garnering a worldwide participation to really dig into the various aspects of what the effects are, whatnot. So. There you go. There's the problem. The whole virus thing. Everyone knows about it. Everyone's heard too much about it. So we're going to move forward.
Now, next one. Keep going. Let's go.
We know the problem. Now we have the reaction. And I don't have a jingle for this. It's theatlantic.com. Cancel everything.
Yep.
Social distancing is the only way to stop the coronavirus. We must start immediately. And this is obviously a reaction that I don't know about you, Basil, but I've people around my neck of the woods. Events are being canceled. Schools are being canceled. Just got a text message
South
from
by
the
Southwest got canceled. Things are getting canceled all over the place.
Yeah, stuff getting canceled. So have you been affected by the cancellation of everything?
Not really. I've been pretty good at just canceling everything on my own. I don't need the government's help to cancel anything. I just do it just naturally. It's my natural intuition.
Sometimes things get canceled without any notice of any kind of cancellation.
Yeah, it just don't show up. Boom, canceled. Yeah, well, this is interesting because, this concept of social distancing, unfortunately, I don't know. I can't help but see things in this context where, of course, one of the goals to disempower a group of people who might be getting a little bit ornery. We've got all these riots and demonstrations all over the world, Venezuela, France, Hong Kong, all these big groups of people rising up. And of course, this horrible quote unquote plague comes by that forces everybody to stay home or they will be destroyed by this magical virus. So I do see this as, a type of control mechanism, because when you isolate individuals in a society, especially one that's unhappy with its leadership, then they can't get together and protest. They can't get together and push back against authority. So we really see this. I see this as, this is whether or not, the details of the actual virus and sickness that we're getting from the mainstream are correct or overblown or whatever. This command to socially isolate yourself does serve as a very convenient control mechanism against groups of people who may push back against the authorities.
It's changing behavior at a very societal level. And it forces everybody to either be of one or the other. It's really kind of interesting how it's happening all around. And like you said, if it's whether or not the whole virus thing is true or obviously there's stuff happening, but it's really interesting because if we had more time, I would read through this Atlantic article, and this is way more doom and gloom. Like they make the numbers sound like really bad and everything is horrible and it's more deadly than the flu and all kinds of stuff. But if you contrast that...
We could spend the time on it, just so you know, we're already almost at about 20 minutes.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
But second block, we might just want to jump deep into this because... Yeah. I don't know.
Well, I was going to say, if you go through, and you read through some of the first article, but it was the part about the coronavirus and the level of threat that it is wasn't very alarmist from the geneticliteracyproject.org, that article. But the one from the Atlantic is much more like, oh my goodness, it's so bad. Oh, yeah. And then so you have this cancel culture.
It's a good example of how a lot of the scientific and medical community are a little bit more, I won't say they're saying it's not a big deal, but they're a little bit more realistic.
Right.
So when you go to these, sites that are kind of specifically for doctors or medical professionals, it's very level-headed, whereas the mainstream media is just, coronavirus will kill us all. Stay home. Don't shake hands.
Right.
So that does say something about the reality of the situation.
Yeah. And so far, if people have followed here, we've had the problem as stated, and CRISPR-Cas9 helping out the problem. Then we had the reaction, which is the cancel everything. And then we have the solution. So this is Forbes.com. Is VR the solution to the impact coronavirus is having on the events industry? Duh, Basil, of course.
Yes, VR has always been the solution to the world's problems.
Coronavirus is having an unprecedented impact on the events scene, but the virus doesn't have to bring the industry to a halt. Virtual reality VR offers a solution to the travel bans companies all over the world are facing and the restrictions on large gatherings that are being imposed by governments. So convenient, Basil.
I know.
HTC has reacted to the current situation by hosting the first fully virtual industry conference. The HTC Vive Ecosystem Conference, VEC, is usually held in Shenzhen, China. This year, the organizers will be hosting their conference entirely in virtual reality. And, it goes on here, but basically, there you go. VR. Very convenient solution to all the isolation.
Socially isolate yourself, yes. And this is being socially isolated is a good reason to entirely transfer your entire life onto VR, which I will be doing, and I'll see you all there.
Yes, we are making the leap into the unknown territories.
The VR space. Yeah. You can find us on twitch.tv/canarycry. Yeah. Newstalk. Nope.
Eventually.
Cry Radio.
Eventually, this long promo will
so end. There you go. That whole setup there. This whole coronavirus thing has been to get us all into the virtual world so we can start living our lives and working at our jobs, controlling robots at factories from the comfort of our own home. Gons, did you stock up on toilet paper? You've got your 480,000 rolls of toilet paper?
No, I went to the store and they're all gone.
Yeah. That's the thing.
Everything else is there. All the food, food's fine. Just the toilet paper.
Yep, it's very funny. People stocking up on the stuff. People can't get enough of this stuff. They love it. They love this TP. And thankfully, I've teamed up with my good friend Jeff Bezos, and he just sends me toilet paper on a regular basis.
Oh,
but Gons, I found an even better solution to the toilet paper crisis.
Okay.
And this is a Basil's bunker thing here. I've recently been giving my tips and tricks for your apocalypse bunker, how to deal with the EMF radiation, what's in my bunker and what should you have in yours. And I got to say, this last Christmas, I got a Christmas present. And this Christmas present was the best thing I ever could have gotten to prepare for coronavirus. You want to know what it is?
What is it?
It's a bidet. That's right. Bidets, people. Now, you may think that it's some sort of weird, pervy Euro obsession, but no, it's actually interesting. I looked into the history of bidets, and America is really one of the last countries to accept the existence of bidets. But bidets, you can get them pretty cheap now. They're just little add-ons that just clip onto your toilet and boom, no need for toilet paper. So, when the apocalypse hits, when coronavirus takes over the world and we're all socially isolated and we're all on our VR sets, just sitting right on our toilet because we don't need to stand up to go there. We could just VR right on the toilet. You don't need to stock up on toilet paper. I am totally unaffected by the toilet paper shortage going on in this very sad time in our world right now. So there you go. If you wanna start preparing yourself for the long haul, go ahead and get yourself a bidet.
Do you
and Basil's Bunker, the website, is coming soon, folks, where you can trick out your bunker just like mine.
Do you have a well where the water comes from, or is this what do you got going
interestingly enough, if you really do an analysis of what sort of a black swan event will be, water is actually one of the most reliable. I'm not saying the cleanliness or the safety of the water, but water pressure is one of the most reliable public utilities. Just because of the way it's set up. It's not like electricity where one little thing could, one squirrel could cut off the electricity for a whole city block. Our plumbing in the U.S. is pretty robust. As long as that water tower or that reservoir stays filled, we're good, baby. So there you go.
All right.
You don't need to. Yeah, and you're saving the trees. You don't need your TP. Just get yourself a bidet, brother.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Basil's Bunker.
There you go.
Still need a jingle for that one.
I know. Somebody bust out a Basil's Bunker jingle.
This is the closest thing we got here.
That's right. So we've got sort of a rundown on some stuff the Pope is doing. Do you want to just run through it really quick, or should we start it and finish it on the extended report? What do you think, Hans?
I think we should just move it all into the extended report because I have a Nephilim update here that's going to take a few minutes here.
All right. So there you go, people. We got a whole block on the Pope. You're gonna want to see it. It connects in with the whole VR takeover, all sorts of fun stuff. You can get the extended report by signing up to support the show at patreon.com/CCNT.
Nephilim update. Nephilim update. Nephilim update.
We always like to bring
real quick, Hans.
Yeah.
I'm wondering. I don't know. I hope I haven't lost touch with maybe new listeners. I'm wondering if you need to get a quick little explanation of Nephilim for every Nephilim update. I know, of course, the diehard fans and the longtime listeners are aware of Nephilim, but I wonder if people even make it to our show without knowing what the Nephilim are.
Probably not, but for those of you who, in case you don't know who they are, they're mentioned in the Bible twice by name, Nephilim, sometimes translated giants, and they lived prior to the great flood of Noah. They were mentioned in Genesis 6 as part of the offspring of the unholy union between the angelic beings with the daughters of men. And,
half angels, half man.
Yep.
All
full demon.
All Nephilim.
All Nephilim, full demon.
There you go.
And
not
it's
full demon.
Well, that the theory is that the disembodied spirits of the Nephilim are the New Testament demons that we see. So, going into the pigs and all that kind of stuff. So,
I think that's debatable, but that's okay.
Well, yeah. Okay, sure. Go debate with Dr. Michael Heiser then, Basil.
I will.
Put all your scholarly arguments together.
Somebody's got to bring you down a notch.
I know he's somewhere out there, man. It's like
it's just because he's so much smarter than me. That's the only reason.
He moved all the way.
Tell
to
us
the
the
East
Nephilim
Coast.
update.
All right, Nephilim update. We like to get our news. We track not just mainstream, but very fringy in other countries even. This is English.newstracklive.com, and it looks like this is a Indian, like the nation of India, country of India. Their outlet, and they mentioned the Nephilim in this article, and it's kind of interesting the way they put it. So I wanted to briefly read this for you guys before we wrap it up here. Holy Bible contains full mention of Nephilim era. The way in which the human beings are discussed in the Hindu Puranas, it is also mentioned in the Bible. I know it's kind of a weird translation, but this is Indian outlet. In addition, according to Hindu mythology, in ancient times, there were not only humans, but also animals and birds. It is said that the eagle named Garuda was so huge that he used to carry the elephant with his claws. Something similar is mentioned in the Bible about the Nephilim era. According to the Christian book of the Bible, in the Nephilim era, there were such people who were excommunicated from heaven, while these people saw the beautiful women of the earth and changed their minds. Earlier, it should have stayed here and worked for God, but it did not do so, and they started living with women of their choice. The Bible says that it was wrong to do so. God made them to live in heaven, but they were attracted to the beautiful women of the earth, and with this, they ran the world in their own way. They were called Nephilim. Genesis 6.
We love you, beautiful women of the earth.
Human beings also began to accept. Oh, I'm sorry. I gotta skip. I gotta say this part. While they gave birth to a new race of humans, and they started giving mysterious knowledge of God to humans, human beings also began to accept this knowledge to avoid the curse given to Adam and Eve. According to the Bible, the Nephilites were full of immorality, adultery, and many lusts. He was also called a demon. he had ruined the earth and wickedness spread all around.
Wow.
So there you have it.
This is just an Indian news outlet.
Yeah.
And they've just got a full breakdown of the Nephilim. The tabs up top say news, crime, business, sports, entertainment, lifestyle, technology, auto world, education, other, and ancient biblical prophecy.
So there you go. That's our Nephilim update from India.
Nephilim update.
Okay.
Nephilim update. Nephilim update.
Thank you very much, India. And there you go. So, hey, everybody, we do another show every single week. It's fun, it's flirty, and it's over at patreon.com/CCNT.
Whoa.
And we're going to be picking up, we have a whole block on the Pope. So you're going to want to do that. Hit that Pope jingle, Gons.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
Space Pope Reptilian.
There we go. So you can find that on the extended report. And now here's the thing. We are not supported by corporations and their advertising dollars. We do not believe in selling your attention for our own personal gain. But here's the thing. That's not a great economic model. So if you gain any value from this show whatsoever, you should head over to patreon.com/CCNT and show us that value. Give a little bit back. It helps us keep the show going. And, there's a bunch of fun rewards for you, including a bonus episode, a whole nother show of Canary Cry News Talk every single week. And you're going to want to do that. We're going to be talking about the Pope and some VR, another sort of flippy update. Dexter, he's coming for you. Going to be talking a little bit of pop culture. Let's see. We got some Weinstein stuff going on there. And I'm going to be talking about a list of photos of Joe Biden that I just can't wait to share with everybody. So there you go. Head to patreon.com/CCNT and join the crowd of other supporters. And here's the thing. Make sure to grab an episode of this show, share it with your friends, and go to canarycry.community. That's right. It's a group of listeners. We call ourselves Canarians over at canarycry.community. It's not the Facebook group, which means Mark Zuckerberg will not be collecting your data and selling it so he can tase more goats or whatever he does. So head over there. We're almost to 1,000 users, which is pretty cool considering, this isn't Facebook. It's not just, it's not part of the sort of infrastructure of making things easy. You got to make an account. But the cool thing is it's a safe space for Canarians just like you to get together, talk about what's going on in the world, talk about what's going on in our lives. And, there's a prayer board. There's a meme. The Dank Memes Season 2 is now open. There's even some videos of Gonz and I floating around the Canary Cry community. So if you want to get any of that, this one I was excited about. A topic popped up called the Gamer's Corner. If you're out there and you game, we got all sorts of Canarians sharing their gamer tags and playing games together.
Oops, sorry.
That's right. So I don't know why that played, but there you go. Make sure to head to canarycry.community. Okay, anything else, Gonz?
No, I'm ready for the
All
jingles.
right, here's the thing, folks. If you haven't, if you've got friends who are still getting their news from Facebook and the mainstream media, you got to grab them by the cage and shake it.
I tried to tell you. Nobody wants to listen.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
Crystal meth for days.
There you go, folks. Thanks again for listening to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure to tune in next week, but until then, think outside the cage.